Welcome, everyone. And today, yes, we have a great treat for you all. I am here with an amazing, accomplished woman that you absolutely need to hear what she's going to cover today. We're going to be talking about healing as it relates not only to our spiritual person, but also our businesses, our finances. And I am here today with the amazing Dr. Cindy Trimm. Now, if for some reason you don't know who she is, well, you should know. She is a life strategist. She's an author. She's a humanitarian. She is also a former senator of Bermuda, if you can believe that. And on top of all of that, everyone, she is an advisor to multinational companies and government entities across the globe. So it is truly my pleasure to introduce you to Dr. Cindy Trimm. Dr. Trimm, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. We live in some exciting times, I can tell you that.
That is one word for it. Yes, exciting. Some people, Dr. Trimm, may say challenging or disheartening, but I love your perspective. You're saying that we're living in challenging and interesting times. And we're going to talk about that because you're going to be sharing with us ways in which we can heal. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more for us?
Yeah, when you look at the kinds of times that we live in, it is tumultuous, and we have major world problems, not just being faced by the United States of America, all over the world. There's these socioeconomic gaps, health gaps, educational disparity, and this has created this geopolitical inflection where all governments have to deal with it. And so I believe that, with the kind of pandemic, the social distancing, the protests, all of these are just highlighting where we are as a people. And then when I saw, people that were protesting and they had signs that Black Lives Matter, and they were from Australia, and they were from India, and they were from Asia and Europe, I decided, hey, this is a great thing, because people were simply saying, we don't want to live in a world like this anymore. And so I started to build a case for hope, to say to people, look, let's all weigh in on this, and let's not make government God. Let's then look at how we as individuals can be the change we want to see. And I started not only building a case for hope, building a case for faith, but I became the change I wanted to see. And I got together with doctors and lawyers and sociologists and say, look, other people are adopting pets and they're adopting children. Let's adopt a city. And so my newest thing is wearing a black t-shirt that says, I am the change, and hashtag that. There's something that we can do in the middle of a crisis, because I've always felt that a crisis was a divine announcement that it's time to change. Right. Number one. And then number two, to look internally, inside, at potential. The potential for each one of us to be the solution and be the change that we want to see. So I like I said, I'm building in the midst of this crisis, in this critical moment, in a time where we have reached so many inflection points, to be able to say, let's look at history. And in moments of critical crises, what did a previous generation do? Exactly. And I look back, and it gave rise to the next leader, the next mover, the next shaker, the next innovator, the next leader. And it gave rise to these people that were sitting in a state of potential. And so it will be with this generation. All of humanity has been willed into a kind of spiritual maternity ward, where we're giving birth, we're birthing the new, we're birthing the next. And these pain points should point us to points where we can use to pray. And not only that, to be able to point us to purpose and to our assignment. And we're never hopeless. We're never without an opportunity to move humanity forward. And usually humanity moving forward is usually in the midst of the greatest amount of pain and the greatest amount of challenge that we have to face.
That is wonderful. And that's a fantastic preamble, if you will, to the discussion we're going to have today, because you hit upon a few key things there. You hit upon opportunities during a crisis. And when we look back on history, a lot of the major transitions financially as well as socially happened as a result of a crisis. It happened as a result of some major event that changed the trajectory that we were all on. So you touched upon that, and you touched upon faith, and you touched upon having to rely on that more than ever to keep us grounded and to keep us basically focused on positive change and not gloom and doom. So I know we're going to delve into that a little bit, and I want to start with this notion, Dr. Trimm, of healing. You know, when we think of healing, we think of physical healing first and foremost. Then some of us may think of, okay, well, there's the spiritual healing that a lot of us are having to endure right now because we're anxious and we're panicky and we're overwhelmed with everything that's going on in the world. But then there's also business and financial healing and identifying those opportunities. Can you talk a little bit about recognizing that even though COVID-19 is a horrible situation that we're all going through, this pandemic is definitely a challenge and people have lost their lives, but at the same time, there's room for opportunity during COVID-19. Can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. You know, when you look at these problems, and they can seem overwhelmingly disheartening. But again, you know, I look retrospectively at history. And I say to myself, okay, Cindy, there's no reason to lose hope, because those pain points are pointing towards the potential. And in every crisis, every problem, in every situation, there is always the potential. There's the potential to change. There's the potential to grow. There's the potential for us to take another look at a problem and look at it from different lenses. And this is what's happening even today, because it's reshaping our paradigm. And we know that there's no problem that can stand the assault of sustained thinking, but it's how we think about a problem, how we think about it. And we have to be able to say, okay, we may not be able to fix everything now, but we could fix something. And looking at my own life, the only thing that I have the power to fix and change and adjust is myself. And so each one of us can start with ourselves, and it starts with a person. And this is why I believe that knowing who we are as human beings, oftentimes we look at ourselves as flawed, which may be partly true. But I'm building a case for us to begin to look at ourselves as fabulous, because we're created in the image after the likeness of God. And many of us have not even stepped back to explore the multifaceted nature that we have. We're not just social beings and spiritual beings and professional beings and business beings, but we're also creative and innovative beings. And if we would accept this truth, that the world in which we live, and even our own personal lives, are constructs of our own thought, we will have enough power to say, then if I change the way I think, or if I alter the narrative of any situation and see myself less as being a product of an environment, but the environment being the product that I myself have created, then it always goes back to me being the change that I want to see. And if I do that, and if I influence others to do the same, eventually we can create a community of individuals. And that community of individuals collectively has the power to change not only a nation, but to change this world. So it really starts with me.
With you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's powerful because right now, a lot of folks are in the mode or the mindset of this is happening to them or this is happening to us. And we are powerless in the face of this. Now, yes, we're dealing with a very insidious virus right now, and we're dealing with the loss of a lot of life. So there may be folks right now watching or listening to this conversation that we're having, Dr. Trimm, and they're saying, yes, that sounds great. That sounds like positive thinking, but what does that, how is that going to help me right now to have a tangible uh, change or a tangible tool to use to get me by? And I know we were chatting offline. There are companies right now that are channeling this. They're using this pandemic or this COVID-19 situation, and they're creating opportunities. They're increasing their value and their worth. And so someone along the way has embraced what you're saying because they're reaping benefits from that. So, Dr. Trimm, what would you say to someone that may be sitting there listening or hearing or watching us right now saying, yeah, that sounds like positive thinking, but how can I turn that into something tangible to help me through this situation?
Well, I can look at my own life. I don't even have to read a book to be the testimony of what I'm saying, because I grew up in abject poverty, abject. And we ran out of everything. We ran out of water, food, clothes. Imagine waking up, there's no water to bathe, let alone drink. And growing up in that kind of environment. And I've discovered that it's a mentality. And so what I'm saying, I applied it as principles for my own life. And as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So we're talking about eventuality. We're talking about you having a vision for your life, you having a vision for your family. And these are tangible things. They're or intangible things. These are spiritual things that we talk about. But if you think about this world in which we live, it once was someone's thought. The chair that I'm sitting in, you're sitting in, was just once a thought. Technology was once only a thought. The food, how we package, these were all thoughts. And what we call modern technology, the refrigerator, the microwave, the lights that I'm using, these were only thoughts. Thoughts that someone took serious enough to put energy and action into an end product. So you have to start with, what do I want? How do I want my life to look like at the end of this year, at the end of 2 years? And if you can think about the end of the year, think about the end of the month and start there, or the end of the week, and really begin to harness your thoughts and manage your thoughts. Because technically speaking, we don't live outside in, we live inside out. And I'm hoping that everyone would accept this as true, because everything that comes to you is first in you. And it's in you as a thought. And I'm not talking about children, baby children. I'm talking about as adults. And so when I accepted that as a fact, honestly, that's when my life started to change. When I stopped waiting for someone to do it for me and reached on the inside of my God-given ability, my God-given talent, and my God-given right to make a decision for my own personal life. And when I took 100% responsibility for my destiny, that's when things change. When I stopped waiting for government, when I stopped waiting for my mother or waiting for my father, when I took this, and it happened over a period of time. And so, there's this scripture that says, again, God having a conversation with an ex-slave, and this was Joshua. He said, Joshua, if you want success and you want prosperity, watch what you think. Meditate on my word day and night, and let my word guide your thoughts. So I often say to myself, Cindy, could things be the way they are? Because you are the way you are. And what one thing can you change that can change everything? And I decided, well, I can't change things that are out here, but I can change my mind. And in changing my mind and my thought processes, eventually it changed my attitude, which informed my action, which informed my daily habits, which became a routine, which became a lifestyle, which eventually became my destiny.
Wow, that is powerful. That is so powerful. Everyone, I really hope that you are really in tune to what Dr. Trimm is telling us, because we could probably argue that part of the reason, I'm not saying the whole reason, but part of the reason that we are all in the situation that we're in right now, and I'm not just talking about COVID-19, I'm talking about the racial injustice that we're dealing with. I'm talking about the societal divide that we're dealing with. All of those things could arguably go back to us as individuals and what we're thinking inside and what we're believing inside. And it now has this outward manifestation that unfortunately right now has manifested in some very negative and divisive ways. But if you are looking at this on Facebook, okay, you can leave comments and things below. We want to see them. We want to hear about them. Make sure you're engaging as we have this great conversation today. If you're looking at this on IGTV, guess what? You can also give us your comments and suggestions and opinions and everything else there as well. And if you happen to be watching this on BIBO Weekly, BIBO Weekly.com, our website, or the Rewind Network, REEWIND.live, rewind.live. No, you can't leave comments, but we hope that you are enjoying the conversation just the same.
Hey, it's Tatiana. Now, if you're anything like me, you're always searching for the next great body cream, body lotion, anything that is gonna make your skin silky smooth. Now, I absolutely love L'Occitane, whatever it's called. I really love their ultra rich cream because, I mean, look at it. When you open it up, you can just see how creamy and smooth it is, and I just can't wait to get it on my skin because look how my skin just shrinks it up. I mean, this stuff is amazing and it smells so fresh and so clean. Nothing is better than a great lightly scented body cream that won't interfere with whatever cologne or perfume that you're wearing for the day. But just look at that. Look at that glow, instant hydration without having to drink a bunch of water. But I just love it, and it's just so smooth, and you can apply it all over your body, your face, your hands, your arms, your legs, just everywhere, and it's just so soft. Like, you just can't get enough. The only thing that's hard about it is pronouncing the name L'Occitane, but this body cream, it's so great. I really love this, and I really love that I'm able to find it on Amazon as well because I need this as soon as possible. As soon as this jar gets empty, I need another one with quick, fast, and in a hurry. I'll see you soon with some more of my beauty secrets.
You're mine now.
Help! Help!
I'm going to find out everything that happened. This is my better half, Kate.
Don Brewer.
Kate, you'll start as detective under Bowden.
Welcome to the dark side.
Trust me, this one has put all the work in. 2 detectives under 1 roof, things could get messy.
Only if you let it.
We now have 2 boys dead within a 12-hour time span on the River Oaks Bridge.
About these tattoos.
What about these?
These tattoos are matching.
Conrad, let Detective Bowden do his job. You're off for the evening. We got this covered.
Why can't you find a hobby, Katie?
You know what? Gladly.
Katie, you're searching for evidence that doesn't exist.
There's a lot you don't know.
It's almost as if someone doesn't want me to become detective.
You think any one of them knows real secrets the other has?
It's not me.
But just because someone is kind-hearted, it doesn't mean that they're not capable of violence.
What we don't know can't hurt us. Or can it?
But if we listen to what Dr. Trimm is telling us right now, we all, each of us as an individual, all of us were to take this homework assignment, if you will, and begin to put into practice the things that she's teaching us right now. Imagine what the world would look like, maybe even as soon as 6 months from now, maybe a month from now. Imagine the change that we can impart. So I thank you so much for those sage words, Dr. Trimm, because you're right. We're dealing with not just a virus and a pandemic, but we're also dealing with all these other social ills right now that are compounding the issue. And again, we're talking about this overarching, topic of healing. That speaks to kind of the spiritual healing, right? That kind of speaks to the spiritual man and what we can do. I'm going to shift gears just a little bit to the business and financial healing. And yes, it's all intertwined. It's all definitely intertwined. But if someone is listening to this right now and they want to appeal to the fact that you are a businesswoman, you've been a successful businesswoman, you've been an advisor to companies and governments. And so understanding that we have to work on that physical aspect, absolutely, that's the foundation, if you will. What would be your advice or your food for thought, if you will, for those who are watching us or listening to us in terms of how they can reposition themselves in order to better take advantage of a business or a financial rebirth, if you will, while we all go through this very challenging time?
Wow, this is really great. So you've got to hit a hard stop. You just have to stop doing something. Because a lot of us, we want change, but we just build on the old. We keep building on the old, hoping that that would change things. But you have to hit a hard stop. About 28 years ago, almost 30 years ago, I hit a hard stop and I felt like, okay, I'm serving my country in government. I was government. And I began to understand this, that the average person thinks of government as they think of God, like government is going to change all their problems. But government is not there to fix all the problems. It's there to set policies so that collectively we can push a nation forward. It's a collective thing that is not only in terms of the NGOs and the agencies, but also corporations as well. And I hit a hard stop because I felt like, okay, I'm here making changes in my nation, but what if I had an opportunity to do the same thing that I'm doing and affect changes around the world? And so this is an idea that came to me from God. And I tendered my resignation and I immigrated legally to the United States of America.
Wow.
And I had to hit a hard restart. I had to change because I was British at that time.
Right.
I came to the United States of America. I had to start from the bottom. I had to learn a system, learn a government, learn a structure, learn a company, learn how to pay taxes. I had no credit. I had to build credit. And I started all over again with nothing, no name, no money, no house, nothing. And I came to the United States of America as an immigrant. So I understand. I'm a woman of color, I'm an immigrant starting all over. So what I'm saying to people actually works. There's something that Albert Einstein said, the world as we have created is a process of our thinking, and it cannot be changed without changing our thinking. And many times, crises is what we need to give us sort of the kick in the behind.
Right.
And you cannot go back to the past and change anything about the past, but you can start now to have a future that is vastly different from the past. So I decided, okay, if I'm going to teach this thing and preach this thing, I have to be the proof that it works.
Mm-hmm.
So I built a nonprofit organization, a ministry, and a company. And I have staff from around the world. So during COVID-19, I had to hit a hard stop and say, guys, I don't want you to be concerned about a paycheck. That's my job. I own this business. What I want you to do is let's talk about where we want to be at the end of this year and in 10 years. And let's build strategy around that. So I had a talk about vision, and then strategy, and then buy-in. So all the staff has to buy in, and all the staff has to think about bottom line. Mm-hmm. And in doing that, we had to move the company quickly. And we had to use modern technology and understand that we were in the fourth industrial revolution, and there were going to be jobs that would be lost, but it doesn't mean that we have to be jobless, because it was no longer about whether or not there would be jobs. It was about whether we would have skill for those jobs. So with technology, for every job that we lose, there's 2.5 jobs that are created. So the question is capacity and skill. And I tell everyone, that's something that you can do for yourself, because we have nothing but information on the internet. And stop using the internet for entertainment. Right. Stop sitting on social media, on other people's timeline, and create your own. And you shouldn't be on social media unless you're making money. So then you have to learn how to monetize everything. Move, become a lifelong learner, and upgrade your skills. So that was for me and for everyone else to be able to say, look, wealth is created. And as long as you are sitting waiting for someone to give you money, that's on the lowest totem pole of acquisition. And you can use what you have. So what if you don't have money? You have time.
Right.
Time is a currency. You can either spend it or you can invest it. If you spend it, there's no ROI. If you invest it, there is an ROI. So how are you spending your time? And you do that with your staff. And so we had made the shift a couple of years ago to be technologically driven. I have staff around the world, Sri Lanka, Bahamas, Bermuda, all of the United States of America, and we made the shift. So either you're going to be swept away by the change and stand back and ask what has changed, or you could become an agent of change. You don't have to be swept away by a trend. You can become a trendsetter. And if you look at yourself as an employee or an employer, If you want to make millions, solve a million people problem. If you want to make billions, solve a billion people problem. So if you're in the workforce and you want to become indispensable, figure out what problems that place of employment has and be the solution. So the key is not finding a better job or a secure job. You seeing yourself as a problem solver, not only in business, but if you're an entrepreneur, solve a problem. But if you are working, see yourself as an intrapreneur and work as if you own that business. And that is my solution. There are over 13,000 world problems. And if we can just see ourselves as a solution, and even if you're not a business person, work in the business as if you own it. But if you are a business owner, work on the business as if the world depends on your product, your good, and service.
Wow. Wow, everyone. I hope that you guys are out there not only listening or watching, but you grab that notepad, that you grab that iPad, that phone, whatever you need to, and take some notes, because right there, Dr. Trimm just gave us several nuggets of wisdom that we're going to make sure we post on our websites as well. Time is a commodity. We can either invest it or we can do other things with it. But if we invest that time, we can get a bigger return on investment, right? So make sure that if you took nothing away from that conversation, that was gold right there, Dr. Trimm. I thank you so much for that, absolute gold. And that statement right there could literally change the lives of many that are listening and watching us right now. Now, she gave us a lot more than that, but how are you using your time, everyone? How are you really using it? A lot of us are depressed and we're anxious and we're panicky. So we're just laying on the couch watching Netflix and eating. And that's what we're doing with our time. Whereas Dr. Trimm is challenging us to take this as an opportunity to reinvent yourself, as an opportunity to be creative, as an opportunity to be an entrepreneur, or if not, an intrapreneur. Either way, become the solution to a problem. Wow. Dr. Trimm, I know we're running out of time right now, but luckily for us, everyone, Dr. Trimm is going to be back to talk more in depth on all the things that we just covered today. We're going to go even deeper on each of these things when she comes back. So you're going to be seeing a lot more of her, and we're super excited about that. But just today's conversation, I hope you got something for your spiritual person as well as your business and financial person as well, to at least get started. But we're going to be bringing you more in the coming months, coming weeks. Dr. Trimm, wow, I can't believe we burned up 30 minutes that quickly, but in this
time sure goes by when you're having fun.
It goes by too quickly. But I thank you so much, because there's so much more that we're going to get into and cover going forward. But again, I thank you for your wisdom. I thank you for your insight and your advice today. You felt comfortable and good about that as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I have so much to say. So
invaluable.
In sound bites, you know, it's good just to take a subject and break it up into sound bites, and we can drag it on for a couple of weeks so that people can really hear.
Absolutely. No, this was wonderful. And I guess what will happen is Nelson on our side will get in touch with your team and figure out a schedule that works, that's conducive, where we can begin to flush out some of these things a little bit deeper on the list here. But I thank you so much for wanting to do it. Again, it's our pleasure to do it. And I'm super excited to get that out to our audience as well.
Absolutely. Let me know how I can help. I'm always here to support.
Oh, we appreciate you, and thank you so much. And I know we're going to be seeing each other again really, really soon as we can set it up.
Okay. God bless.
God bless you. See you soon.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye. If you are looking at this on Facebook, Okay, you can leave comments and things below. We want to see them. We want to hear about them. Make sure you're engaging as we have this great conversation today. If you're looking at this on IGTV, guess what? You can also give us your comments and suggestions and opinions and everything else there as well. And if you happen to be watching this on BIBO Weekly, BIBO Weekly.com, our website, or the Rewind Network, REEWIND.live, rewind.live. No, you can't leave comments, but we hope that you are enjoying the conversation just the same. Okay, we're going to be back soon, everyone. In the meantime, take care, stay healthy, stay safe, but most of all, stay blessed.